On this episode, we're taking you through an incredible weekend full of fun, friends, and Florida sunshine as we wrap up another amazing Main Street 16 event. Today's May 23rd, 2025, and this is episode 774 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys!
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, get the latest theme park news, as well as live streams from the parks and resorts, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
Well, I would say happy 626 Day, but it is not yet June. But it is Stitch Day because the movie, the live-action Stitch, comes out today.
And Lilo. Why are you giving Lilo no credit at all?
All right, Lilo and Stitch,
yes.
Which we have reservations, tickets, whatever you want to call them.
We got tickets for 2 p.m.
Yep.
I don't for years and years now. It started that movies, they came out on Friday, every Friday, right?
Oh,
That's when
yeah.
movies were released. They started, which was really cool, with midnight showings. So it was still on Friday, the release day. Then they were like, all right, I don't know who started this. If this was I don't know if this started with like Marvel or if it was predates that with maybe like a big time Jurassic Park or something. But then they said, all right, you know what? We'll start them at like 8 p.m. the night before. And then 4 p.m. And then now the first showing today at our theater is 2 p.m. So just say the movie comes out on May 22nd, right?
Which is funny because we originally had plans with Lacey and her friend, but it is graduation time. We now have a senior.
Yeah. Congratulations to all the graduates of whatever, high school, high school and college and kindergarten, because that is celebrated.
It is and fifth grade.
And fifth grade. That's not.
Fifth grade goes to middle school.
Okay, I appreciate that. I don't feel that employs a giant celebration.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
anyways,
wow, you completed kindergarten.
Listen, man,
good job.
It's cute, sweet.
It is.
And we now have a senior.
Yes,
she did a Rise Up yesterday and learned all the things for senior year. I'm excited. I know it's crazy. Cassidy graduated, which is crazy. I was watching it, live streamed it when I was at work and got a bit teary-eyed.
I met her when she was a month old. And the only reason I didn't meet her sooner is because Rob and Tina were still in Maryland and I had moved to Florida.
Well, and we were together when she was in her belly and we talked to her. So
yeah. But anyway, back to the movies, Lilo and Stitch. So Lacey had a graduation party today. We switched things around. Rhonda and I are going to see it today.
But I asked Jeremy, my whole point was I was like, how early can we go? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I was surprised at 2.
We have to wait till all the way at 2 p.m.
I know. I was surprised it was earliest, though.
Oh, well. But yeah, we're going to go see it again Saturday with Lacey and her friend. So,
yeah, I'm excited.
So what we'll do is we're recording in the morning, Thursday morning, and then we're going to go see the movie at 2, and then we'll tag on to the end of this when we get back. Just a quick no spoiler. You really have spoilers, I guess, with these live action remakes. I mean, I know they add some new stuff, but anyway, we'll have a quick conversation, just let you know our thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I'm very glad. I think marketing would have been genius for it to come out on June 26th.
Yes, I
agree.
But
I'm so glad it's not, because we'd have to wait a whole other month.
Yes.
And I can't wait any longer. And the reviews so far have been outstanding.
I'm excited.
So very, very excited. But today, we're going to talk all about this past weekend. We're going to talk about our Main Street 16 Challenge weekend, our 4th annual down at Walt Disney World. This year, we were raising money for Make-A-Wish. Last 3 years, we had done Give Kids the World Village. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about kind of how that went and ended at the end of this episode. We'll give you the winning teams and times and all that. We were coming into this weekend. Rhonda and I don't race on Saturday.
Correct.
We did the first 2 years because they were kind of kickoff years, and it was like, hey, we're going to be out there with everybody. But then it really came to the point like we're
not going to win.
Yeah, and even if we could win, first of all, these teams, I don't know that we could win.
Yeah, that's true.
With how good some of these teams are.
True.
But the simple play was, we're not going to win, and even if we did do our best and got a second or a third, like, we don't want to do that. So what we do is we just spend the days in the parks, and we'll connect with people. We'll do all that stuff. So I found out a few months ago that my best friend from back home, Matt, who now lives in Jersey, just outside of Philly, messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, I see you're doing this thing again." He's like, "I would like to come." I'm like, "Oh, sweet." He hasn't been to Disney since 2018. With his family. And we came down and we went and hung out with them for a while.
Yes.
And so he was going to come down. He's going to get a 2-day park ticket. He was going to crash in our room. I was like, awesome. We'll show Matt a good time. And then not long after that, Rob and Tina said, hey, we would like to come as well. I'm like, oh, shoot. And I figured out I've known these 3 people, Rob, Tina, and Matt, collectively for over 100 years.
Okay. Which
is nuts. I mean, I've known Rob for close to 40 years. Matt for 35, Tina for 30. So it was really cool. I was going to have 3 of my best friends there. Of course, my 4th best friend being you. And so we're like, all right, we're going to hit the parks Friday and Saturday. Rob and Tina got the 3-day Discovery ticket that is going to end at the end of May. And we'll discuss a little bit more about that midway through. But so they were going to come down. So I was like, all right, we're going to hit the parks Friday. We're going to hit the parks Saturday. We're going to see what we can accomplish as, I'm going to call it, regular guests.
Okay.
We're gonna try and accomplish the parks in the way that Matt would with his family without us. Rob and Tina would without us. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're going to get lightning lanes and multi-pass and single pass. We're going to, try and navigate and do rope drops and close parks and park hop and see what we can accomplish. So that's what we did Friday and Saturday. And we're going to run through that. We're going to kind of tell you about Lightning Lane, how things worked. But let's start off with Thursday, which is our arrival day every year to Main Street 16. The event runs Thursday to Sunday morning when we end with the awards. And this year we partnered and worked with Drury Inn at Disney Springs to do a room block there so that we could give really good rates to everybody that was coming. So let's just, we've talked about Drury Inn a lot. I mean, it's one of our favorite spots.
Yeah.
That isn't Disney owned because it is on property, right?
Oh, yeah, because it's right there at Disney Springs.
Yeah.
It's a short walk depending on how hot it is. It was very hot this weekend, but it really wasn't that bad. But I like to walk around a lot because we eat so much at Disney. And the Drury just has so much amazing stuff, which is a free hot breakfast daily. And it's good food. Like
it's real.
It is.
Breakfast.
And large Mickey waffles.
Yep. Eggs they're cooking right in front of you on a griddle, and bacons and sausage, hash browns, potato. Like, it is, we've said this before. If you just made yourself a plate of just say a waffle, a meat product, a hash brown, whatever it may be, you got one of their beverages because they got Coke machines, they've got juices in the morning, you're going to pay easy at a food court at Disney at the hotel, probably $12.99, $14.99 for each individual breakfast.
100%.
So times that,
100%.
times a family of 4.
Yeah.
Right. What else does the Drury have that is, really makes the value, I think, better than any other Disney Springs hotel?
Oh, yeah. Because in the evenings, if you're around, because this can be kind of hard. It starts at 5:30 and it's called Kickback, and it's evening food and drinks. And when we say drinks, there are alcohol drinks that you get 3 per night, And that's anywhere from, Jeremy used to get whiskey. I would get vodka. There's beer, wine.
Yeah. Again,
tequila,
a value from beer and wine of just say on the lower end, a beer at $8, in the parks or at a resort or whatever, all the way up to a $15 mixed cocktail, and they can make, it's almost a full bar.
Yeah.
And so $9 to $15, just say per adult per night on top of the breakfast savings that you're having. So, and then what kind of food, we only got to experience Kickback one evening because we were in the parks the other two, but
right, which was Thursday.
What normally
evening.
is the type of food that they have at Kickback?
They always have hot dogs and nachos, but then they have this first night I think was baked potato, and I had a salad which was really good.
Is that really good grilled chicken and pasta?
Yes, that's what it was. I'm trying to remember.
Tina's known for nachos. I get certain things everywhere. Rana gets certain things. Tina will get nachos everywhere.
Yep.
So I made her and I a plate of nachos, put the chicken on it, had jalapenos, salsa.
You put bacon bits on it.
That ruined it. That was Tina's idea, and it just didn't work.
For the baked potato.
Yeah, those were for the baked potato. But, so you can use that grilled chicken on there. You can use it on the salad. You can use it on the pasta. Heck, you could have made a little grilled chicken sandwich almost. There's so much stuff.
Yeah.
And the menu will slightly rotate several times throughout a week. So other times
did you look at it, what the rest was?
Well, other times we've had pulled pork sliders have been there. A lot of times they'll do these chicken pastas. I'm trying to remember what some of the others are, but it's a meal. It is legit a meal that, again, you could apply a quick service food court hotel value to of minimum $10 a person every single night, right? Now, they do charge for parking here. You have a car. It's $25 per night. They do not have a resort fee.
Correct.
In my mind, I treat that $25 parking as a resort fee, which gives you access to the kickback, the free drinks, because the free drinks each night, they give you basically, it's like a coupon that they mark off, right? So you can't get that without staying there and technically just say paying that resort fee.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we talk about resort fees at other places, right? You go to somewhere like the Swan and Dolphin. Say, all right, it's a $50 a night resort fee. Cool. What's that for? For you to have access to our amenities. Cool. We're going to be in the parks. I don't want to use your amenities. Well, too bad. It's still $50.
Right.
Right? You don't feel like you truly get that value. Here, you're going to get your $25 value, I think, if you do either one thing a day, which is either breakfast, kickback food, or drinks.
Right.
Just doing one of those will give you your value back for that. So what are some of the other perks, though, from being at the Drury?
Well, you do get early entry for the theme parks. There is free shuttles to Disney World, which...
Let's talk about those real quick.
Yeah, because I started to say there's a sheet.
This is the first time we've used it. We've never used the shuttle
one
here.
time.
And I'm obviously not going to go through every time, but, I'll give you some ideas of what they do. For example, starting as early in the morning to Magic Kingdom, which will go to the TTC, by the way.
Yes.
7:40. You start all the way as early to EPCOT and Hollywood Studios, which share a bus.
Yes.
At 7:30.
Goes to
Hollywood
Studios first.
Animal Kingdom is early as 6:15 in the morning because they're opening at 8. And then you've got Disney Springs. It'll start at 10:05. There are 2 buses that go to the water parks, to Typhoon and Blizzard. They're around 10 in the morning, and that's it.
Okay.
And then you obviously have return times in the evening for each of these. So, these buses will sometimes not go as late as you need it for just, say, some park closing. But, for example, when you do like a Hollywood Studios after-hours event, which was on May 14th, the bus pickups are going to run that evening extra from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m.
That's awesome.
So you're even having an opportunity to do after-hours type things, parties, whatever it may be, and get a bus back.
That's great.
These are nice, large charter buses. They're comfy. And we'll talk about the Saturday when we get to it, but I was very impressed with these. And you're looking at now roughly every 40 to 50 minutes. So they're not every 15 like a Disney World bus, but
that's the hard part because jumping ahead on Thursday night, going back to the Drury, it was like 9:15, and the bus wasn't coming until 10:05 or 10.
Yeah, when we were ready to head back. Yeah.
And now this picks up down at by Cirque and
it's way down
over there. Yeah. So and House of Blues and all that. So we were right there by Summer House and Salt and Straw, and I'm the funny person where I'm like Waze. I like Waze because if something's backed up, it'll take you maybe a weird way, but you're continuously moving. Yeah. You might be slowly moving, but you're continuously moving. And at this time in the night, I just didn't want to either A, stand, or B, sit for like 45 minutes. I would have rather walked all the way back. Now, again, you're at the furthest point to walk all the way back.
40-minute walk.
It is. Yeah. But again,
but we still got back to the Drury before the bus had even picked up.
We did.
So,
and it wasn't hot. It's a nice night, and literally we weren't in a hurry, so you can walk slower and everything. So I really that's the type of person I am. So with this, that's when I was like, all right, I'd rather walk. Yeah. So
and this is one of those things, if you know the bus schedule ahead of time, you can plan for it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things we did this weekend, which was a combination, being that kind of regular guest, was doing about as much planning as maybe a regular guest does, which often isn't a ton. It's knowing enough to do the things you want to do in a sense. But if you're one of those ultra planners, you have this all down. You know exactly what time it's picking up. You know exactly as much as we planned this weekend, we also went with the flow.
Yeah.
So there's always still an opportunity to say, you know what? I know the bus doesn't pick up till 10. I don't want to walk back, but we're going to go do this thing instead of just standing. You know what I mean? So when you know those things, I think you can plan a little better.
Yeah.
How's the pool? We didn't get to enjoy the pool this time, but
no, but our balcony looked right down to it.
Yep.
And it's fine. It is not any frills and thrills.
It's not a Disney owned pool.
No.
But I'd put it at, now it's smaller, but I'd put it as many frills as far as like size and what's going on as a value resort. Now you don't have a bunch of theming, but it does have a kid's splash pad.
Yeah.
What I also think makes this pool so great is there is a ton of outdoor sitting space, space to just relax. There is an outdoor bar and grill there with food, with drinks. This is a really great spot to hang out.
Yeah, that's true.
So we actually have never been in this pool.
No.
And then like most hotels, they've got a fitness center, they've got a business center, and of course it is walkable to Disney Springs. So we really do love it here.
Yeah.
We actually we're going to Austin at the end of June, and one night we're going to look at getting a hotel. And I immediately we used to always look for Holiday Inn Expresses. Now I search for Drury Inn, and so we found one that is near the venue that we're going to in Austin, and so I'm like, perfect. Yeah. So it's just it really is a great, and that's the thing is you can find most of these. If not, obviously you can't walk to Disney Springs from every Drury Inn in the world, but they're all going to give you the kickback. They're all going to give you the free breakfast, the free drinks, and a lot of these amenities. So we really, really do love it there. So we arrived. We drove down with Tina. We were the first to get into the hotel. And luckily, our room was ready.
Yes, that was very nice.
Yeah. So how did we start our day once we got there?
Well, we started with baskets for everybody's room.
Yeah.
So, which was very nice of Jeremy. That was sweet.
Well, we want to reward the people that are coming and staying at the host hotel that are going to be there with us, that are supporting, it's not just about supporting us and doing the challenge. It's obviously about supporting and raising money for Make-A-Wish or Give Kids the World Village or whatever it may be. But, a lot of the folks that come to this come specifically for Main Street 16.
You're right.
In addition to their normal Disney trips. So there are a lot of extra costs for them. We have folks that fly in from pretty much across the country. They've got to book their hotel. Some of them still have to get park tickets because they're not pass holders. They got to buy food and drink and all this stuff. And so just a little bit of showing our appreciation, we put together these gift baskets with some like snacks and drinks and stuff that we like. $25 Disney gift card. We entered them in a raffle for another $100 gift card. So we just wanted to thank people and hand out those gift baskets to everybody that stayed there. But at that time, we're going to wait for Matt. He was landing around noon, coming in from Philly. And so we just went and sat by the pool for a little bit and waited for him, right?
Yep. And they had, what was it, athletic?
Yeah, they do have an athletic non-alcoholic IPA there, which was nice. But they have a wonderful selection of, regular beers and wines and full bar and all of that. So once Matt arrived, again, this was one of those things where I didn't have a plan for lunch. It was kind of like let's all four get together.
Right.
Because Rob was supposed to come. Rob was in New York for work, and he was supposed to fly in Friday. So it was just the four of us, and we're like, all right, let's just head down to Springs and walk around, and then
go get something to eat.
Yeah, and I don't remember which one of us it was, but one of us, of course, mentioned Summer House.
Well, we were trying to figure out where to go. We talked about Boathouse, but then we were trying to think of I was trying to think of what Tina would like and then what would just be neat. And then we did. We thought of Summer House, just so light and beautiful. And so we went there. And if you go back to episode 648, 701, 728, we talk all about Summer House. And it was awesome because she walked in and was like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Yeah. And it was super cool because for the first time ever, we actually were sat on the back patio.
Yeah.
Which shockingly felt very fine and nice. And they have fans and everything. And it was not too hot. Overlooking the water. And it was just super cool.
I mean, at this point, I'm guessing, because this was closer to 1, 2 in the afternoon, I'm guessing that the heat index was easily 100 degrees.
Probably.
And so when we were first walking outside, I was like, oh no. And then we sat and the fans and a breeze off that water. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah,
I
did too. I was impressed and surprised.
Yeah. So what did we get to drink? One of our favorite, I think, non-alcoholic zero-proof beverages on property.
Yes, I do love this. And it's the wait list, but I feel like, I don't know how yours was. I feel like mine was heavy on
sparkling
something. Yeah.
I thought it was heavy on the sparkling.
Okay.
Because it's sparkling rose lemonade, elderflower, and lemon. But I didn't feel like it was heavy on the rose lemonade as much as it was heavy on the sparkling and lemon.
I agree.
Almost as though, I'm not saying they did, almost as though they didn't have the rose lemonade, so they substituted Sprite.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's what it tasted like. It tasted more like elderflower, Sprite, and a little spritz of rose.
Yeah.
It was still delicious. It just wasn't what we were used to.
Correct.
So we were kind of like, we were all looking at stuff and deciding what to get. And I was saying well, we got to get the cheesy dream puffs. They're one of our favorite things. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, well, they're guacamoles. Like we started talking. We're like, look, let's just order a bunch of appetizers.
Yeah.
And we'll just share it amongst the four of us. Mm-hmm. Matt and Tina were generous enough to say they were gonna pay. Matt had already told me, he was like, I'm buying lunch, because you're letting me crash in your room and all. And then he and Tina ended up splitting it. But it was just a nice way for, I think, the four of us to all just say like, hey, we're just going to order stuff that we can pass around and share, like small plates.
Yeah.
And then you don't really have to worry at the end of going, well, you got this, you got that. Yeah. How are we splitting the bill and all that stuff? So what stuff did we order? Because we got quite a few food items.
Well, we got the jalapeno cornbread with honey butter for $13.95. We got the cheesy dream puffs for $12.95. We actually tried the prime beef meatballs for $17.95.
First time getting those.
Yes, it is with marinara and Parmesan. Of course, their signature guacamole for $17.95 with a trio of salsas. And then, of course, warm tortilla chips.
Yep. So let's talk about the food.
All the food we got.
Yeah. How about, let's start with the jalapeno cornbread. We've had this before.
Yes.
I don't know why I don't remember it very well.
Either.
It must have been one of the first times.
So good.
It's outstanding.
Yeah, it's in this little skillet where Tina cut it into fours, and I was like, she's gonna cut it again. I'm like, why? Just no. So and she handed him out. She shockingly did not like it with the honey butter. I absolutely love the honey butter with it.
I did too.
But it's just so good.
Yeah, it's It's a cornbread, and cornbread can be on the drier side. That's just hard to avoid, right? So it's
Correct.
a little on the drier side, but it does have a little bit of heat from those jalapenos. I think the honey butter is just such a nice contrast that, kind of combats the little bit of dryness from a cornbread, but it also cools down the heat from the jalapeno.
Mm-hmm.
And that honey butter is super honey-y and sweet and delicious. And what would you say? It's maybe a 6-inch skillet?
Probably.
That we cut in 4. So again, very, very shareable.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's move on to the cheesy dream puffs. What the heck is a cheesy dream puff? How
It's
do you
basically
describe
cheese
this?
bread. I mean,
Brazilian cheese bread, right?
I did not like ours this time.
Really?
It felt too, too overcooked. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Where the cheese dried up inside. It was crunchier on the outside and drier on the inside.
Okay. So it comes with like a biscuit gravy without like sausage in it.
Yes.
And I think I dipped almost every piece in it, so maybe that's why I didn't feel it was dry.
Right, because
you
I
were
had
not
to
doing
too.
it, right? Yeah, but
No.
you weren't originally.
I tried it,
Okay.
and when I pulled it apart, I was even like, okay, this looks like the cheese just like shriveled up and dried out. Like it was just not.
Huh. I did
It is
not have the
not
same
what
experience.
we
Oh, okay.
normally have gotten before.
I loved it.
Well,
So we had
good
very
for
different.
you.
We had very vastly different experiences that time. But even if it was an off one that day, this normally I think it's the best thing on their menu that I've had.
Oh, okay.
This is one where you're looking maybe for a little bite to eat. You're at Disney Springs. You go grab a seat at the bar. You get yourself one of their delicious beverages. You ordered this to split, and it kind of just tied you over until your later meal or whatever it may be.
I think I'd prefer the cornbread.
The cornbread. We'll just get one of each, and then we'll all both be happy. Let's move on to prime beef meatballs that we had for our very first time.
Yeah, these were really good, but beware, it is spicy.
Yes, it
It
is.
has a kick to it
Yeah.
that some people probably will not like. So that is sad for people that don't like the spice.
Yeah, I'm
but,
guessing there's like some crushed red pepper and all in there.
something.
There were
Made it.
3 of them.
Nice
so
size.
yeah, good size. So it's still very shareable. There's a ton of marinara on there, which is super delicious. I actually
I think that's where the spice came from.
it may have been in the marinara, not the meatball.
Yeah.
I wish this maybe came with a couple pieces of like baguette or sliced bread that you
true.
could go ahead and sop up the rest of the marinara, because there's too much for the amount of meatballs, but they were tender, they were flavorful, and this was a Disney heat. You know what I mean? Like it was just enough, but not overpowering, and it didn't
went
linger.
away.
Yeah,
Right.
it didn't linger.
Yeah, true.
So that was one thing that was good about it. But like Rhonda said, just a note: if you
Yeah.
don't tolerate any spice,
Correct.
these do have a little bit of a kick.
Correct.
Let's move on to some of the most expensive guacamole in the world. Signature guacamole, $17.95. You can add like Dungeness crab to it, I think, for an extra $12.
Yeah.
Making this a $30 guacamole.
Yeah.
We've not done that yet.
We almost did, I think.
But is this worth $17.95?
I mean, it's really good guacamole.
I think it is 100%. yeah.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. It is really good, really fresh,
Yep.
because you can tell it's fresh because of the chunks of the avocado in there and the way it just is. And it is really good.
Yeah.
So
And it's not like it's overpowered with lime to help it from
correct.
browning, so you know they're making it fresh. Ton of warm tortilla chips with it.
And she even asked if we wanted more.
Yes, which you can get more. It's very, very shareable for 4 people.
Yes, it is.
And possibly more depending on what you're ordering. And then what I think sets it off from getting, a table side or a fresh made guacamole anywhere else is this trio of salsas. They've got this green verde salsa that we had that first time we went with Jessica and Landon like asked me to take some home, and she hooked him up. It's got kind of like a chipotle sauce, salsa, and then it's got pretty standard pico de gallo.
Okay.
But, I like guacamole. I don't love guacamole. Like, I don't want to just sit and like devour tons of it, but I like having the balance of the salsas.
Right.
So I can say, well, I had a couple bites of the guacamole. I'm kind of ready for something different now. Let me try the salsas. So I do think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like as a very big shareable appetizer. Or again, it's one of those, maybe you go sit at the bar, you get yourself a drink, and then you go ahead and order this for 2 to 4 people
Yeah.
and just snack on this. So Loved our meal here. We love Summer House.
Mm-hmm.
We the our waitress came by, who was wonderful, and was like, would you guys like to get any cookies? And we're like, no, not this time. We're going to head over to Salt and Straw, because we got to show Matt and Tina Salt and Straw.
Yep.
And so I said I said out loud, I was like, yeah, one of these times I said, I'm going to get cookies from here, and then I'm going to take them to Salt and Straw. I'm going to order a scoop of ice cream in a cup, and I'm going to make an ice cream cookie sandwich. And our waitress was like, well, why not do it today? Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, sign me up. Give me 2 chocolate chip cookies. So we got 2 chocolate chip cookies to go, and we headed over to Salt and Straw. Mm-hmm. Matt and Tina loved it. Mm-hmm. We go to Witt's Frozen Custard here a lot. We'll meet Rob and Tina there, and I think this became like her favorite.
Tina loved it. Yeah. In fact, she said over and over, and we did go back. Yeah. But it was funny. She was like, I need to go back and get that ice cream.
Yeah. So we'll talk about my ice cream sandwich in a minute, but Matt got I think it's the home, what is it? Shoot, now it's not in front of me. John is going to yell at me. It's like the home cooking or something series, something along that. And they have a chocolate chili crisp peanut butter cup right now.
Did you try that?
I did. I tried a bite. It's milk chocolate ice cream with bite-sized house-made chili crisp peanut butter cups. It's swirled with peanut butter marshmallow fluff. If you're someone who likes chocolate with a little bit of like chili or like a cayenne, you get that kind of heat in the back. It's very light. You'll really enjoy this. That's what it was. It has that very light taste of like a cayenne or a chili, but it's not overpowering. And it's just delicious milk chocolate ice cream, peanut butter cups, and marshmallow fluff. So I really did enjoy it.
Nice.
So I got snickerdoodle. Mm-hmm. And we took it out to the trash can to eat on right outside. Mm-hmm. And I realized, I forgot how giant the Summer House cookies are. Mm-hmm. Like, they're very big. So I took one, and we had 2 of them. So I took one, and I broke it in half. Mm-hmm. I took my scoop of ice cream, and I kind of spread it out on there, made an ice cream sandwich. If Salt and Straw and Summer House don't team up and make this a thing, they're missing out. And you are missing out. It was delicious.
Good.
It's very hard to eat in 100-degree weather. Because what I do like about the cookies there, though, are like moist enough that when you bite, like sometimes you'll bite into one and all the ice cream will shoot out.
Right.
This only happened at the end when the ice cream was really melting. But I think if they actually made these in-house and had them ready to go for you to buy, these would be one of the biggest hits at Disney Springs.
Okay.
So Disney, Summer House owners, Salt and Straw, people that run Springs, if you're listening, you already took our Dippin' Mickey's idea and put it in at Goofy's Candy Company, right? Mm-hmm. You can have this one. Mm-hmm. Just have it. Ice cream sandwiches. Salt and Straw, Summer House, Snickerdoodle chocolate chip cookie sandwich.
Okay.
It was so good.
Good.
I will do that again sometime.
Okay.
All right. We headed back to the hotel to get kind of more settled in. Tina's room was going to be ready. Mm-hmm. And then what did we do? We went to Kickback, right? To meet up with everyone.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, what did we do? Yeah. So we went and met up with everybody and ate. And then after that, it was early and
because it ends at 7.
Yeah. And we were like, well, but I want to go back to Springs. Well, actually, I wanted to go back to Springs because we needed to go to Goofy's Candy Company to get the trash can inspired container.
Yes, we did.
And it was our first night, and we were like, also, why don't we go back and get some pizza ponte for the room because, like, we had a microwave in our room. So, and I felt like there was one other reason to go back to Springs, but I couldn't remember.
Well, I know like Gary had to go to pick something up, but it was those were our main reasons. And then we just said to the crowd, the group, like, if you want to come on down. And we had a good big group that went down with us. Yeah.
Liv and Riley, she was hanging out with us, and then I said, are you going? You want to go with us? Let's go. Yeah. So, and then everybody else pretty much was like, all right, we'll go. So that was awesome. And then had a nice group. So we went over, walked all the way back down, went to Goofy's Candy Company. And you had to buy a half pound of their candy, of their bulk candy, which usually runs about $7.50. And then you could then get the trash can, which was $14.99. Yeah.
But you had to buy that half pound.
You did.
To be able to be allowed to buy the trash can.
Correct.
A minimum of a half pound at the $7.50. So you're going to add the $15 trash can. So this is going to cost you at least $22.50 just to get this.
Yeah. But they do take pass holder on the candy.
On the candy, but not the trash can?
Correct.
Okay. And then there aren't scales. There weren't scales by the candy, right? So you're not getting a half pound of candy. Let's just say that. You're getting more than a half pound.
And I mean, because I didn't see any either because I'm thinking you can't put it back.
No.
So you could just add. So you could just get a little bit.
You'd have to walk up to the register, ask them to weigh it, go back, add a little, back. So chances are, though, this is going to cost you more than the $7.50 for the candy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is this currently available at?
The trash cans?
Yes, the trash cans. And the candy, because you have to buy candy.
Right.
This whole thing that we've just been talking about for the past 2 minutes.
Well, I said, Goofy's Candy Company,
right?
Okay.
That is one of them. Where else can they get it?
You can get them in the parks. You can get it at Magic Kingdom, which is the Main Street confectionery. You can get it at Disney Animal Kingdom, which is Zuri's Sweet Shops. Those are the only 2 parks. The resorts, you can go to the Boardwalk Inn, the Screen Door General Store.
I'm not sure if they've made it there yet, because on Disney's site it says they're coming in the future.
Okay.
And these, I think these dropped that Thursday, because I got a text from John Self saying, hey, they're at Goofy's Candy Company now.
And we went and got one.
Yes.
Another resort is Fort Wilderness, which is the campsites, the Meadow Trading Post, and of course at Disney Springs, Goofy's Candy Company. But we also walked past the Disney Candy Cauldron, which is where Riley was going to get her caramel apple, and they were all in there.
Yep.
Because when we were actually at Goofy's, Liv saw and looked like there was only like about 4 or 5 like quote unquote left, and I mean out where she could see. I don't know if there was others underneath or anything.
I'm guessing there were,
and I'm guessing too, but it was nice because when we went to the Candy Cauldron, there was plenty there too, and we
saw them at Zuri's Sweet Shop at Animal Kingdom. They had a ton of them, so I don't think that's going to be an issue of trying to get them. I love it. Yeah. It's adorable. It's a good size.
Where is it?
We're going to play a game that Rhonda's going to have to find where I put it in the house. It might not be in this office.
Are you serious? Why?
We don't know.
Why?
So it's a good size. It's good quality. The actual little lid things flip open.
Yep.
And then the whole top opens. Here's the only thing I wish. I wish they treated this a little bit like a popcorn bucket. I wish you could go back to any of these candy shops.
Get it refilled.
Well, you could get up to another minimum of a half pound of candy at a discounted price, the way they do popcorn. Obviously, you're not going to fill another half pound of candy for like $2. But even if they said, you can bring your receipt back or bring back the physical trash can, get another half pound of candy or more, and get 10% off or something like that. You know what I mean? Because you don't put the candy directly in the bucket. You have to put it in a bag. They weigh the bag, and then they say, yes, I will allow you to buy the bucket, which is just funny to me.
Yeah.
But so we got our bucket. I'm really hoping that this is such a hit that they do themed buckets for other parks and locations. I mean, you telling me that if you did an Orangeburg trash can at EPCOT, similar to this, that it wouldn't just kill it?
You kept
that
calling
they
it
have
bucket,
right now?
so I'm like...
Well, I know, I keep calling it bin, trash bin. I think like if you did this and themed it, for each of the parks or some of the lands, it'd be a huge hit. This would be a big collector's item. So we did get Pizza Ponte.
Yes, we all did. Like so many of us, which was super cool.
We have a photo of like 8 or 9 of us each holding a box of pizza.
I said we have to do it and send it to Rachel. Yep. So I mean, we did. Yeah.
Not that Pizza Ponte needs any help, but we definitely gave him some business that night. All right, move on to Friday. And these next 2 days are going to be crazy. So there wasn't a point, I don't think, on going, let's run through our day by minute. Let's say what time we got to a ride. Let's say what time the posted wait time was. Let's say what time we got on. Because in the end, that's how it worked for us on that day. You know what I mean? We can tell you all the time, hey, show up to this ride at this time, and if the posted wait time is 50, it's actually 30. Well, that's not every time you go.
Correct.
So what we want to talk about more is the value we felt we got out of Lightning Lane.
Okay.
And the way that we were able to accomplish a ton in 2 days, showing that it's possible.
Okay.
You know, I think that, and we had a great combination of standby and Lightning Lanes.
Right.
So what it's going to kind of, I think, prove a little bit is that, first of all, Lightning Lane does work, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but it works.
Right.
If you use it properly.
Right.
The other thing is to show that, you know what? Standby still exists. Just because there's standby and you don't want to get Lightning Lane and pay the extra money, it doesn't mean you can't do anything.
Oh, 100%.
You can actually do a ton.
Yep.
So that's kind of what we want to talk about. So because we're at Drury, they do not have the 7-day prior access to book Lightning Lanes.
Right. It's 3,
we have
correct?
3.
Okay.
So as I was going through and I talked with, I had texted Rachel some because Rachel often will take her mom or some other friends or family, and so she'll get Lightning Lanes. Mm-hmm. So she's really good at them.
Okay.
And we honestly don't use them a lot.
Okay.
So I texted her and I was like, hey, here's kind of my thoughts and what I'm thinking of doing. And she gave me some advice. And so the plan on Friday was to do both Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
The plan on Saturday was to do both EPCOT and Hollywood Studios. Mm-hmm. Those two, obviously, because of the Skyliner between them.
Correct.
So looking at it, I thought, all right, Animal Kingdom does have the cheaper Lightning Lane multi-pass, but I don't think the value is great for it if you're going to another park. Because by the time you book your 3 at Animal Kingdom in the morning and you start using them and you can rebook another Lightning Lane at another park, your times are really, really going to most likely be bad.
Okay.
So what I thought instead was we're going to rope drop Animal Kingdom, and then I'm going to purchase for Magic Kingdom, which unfortunately is a little bit more, and I'm going to book afternoon for our first 3 Lightning Lanes.
Okay.
And then we'll hop over there.
Okay.
So going through, I did go ahead and grab a Flight of Passage single pass as well, because you can obviously buy those separate from multi-pass, and thought this will keep us from truly having to rope drop. Like, we don't need to be there at 7 a.m. or anything for an 8 a.m. And we would have early entry at 7:30.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, everybody's going to kill me. Tina and Matt and Rhonda are going to kill me if I say we got to get up at like 6:30 Friday morning.
100%.
You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I'm going to buy that Lightning Lane single pass.
Yeah.
Then I thought, I want to make sure they do TRON. So at 3 days out, TRON was sold out.
Wow.
Gone. No single pass. So I thought, all right, I'll adjust. We'll figure it out. So went ahead and booked my 3 for the afternoon, and I booked at Magic Kingdom Jungle Cruise as the tier 1, which is, I think, is ridiculous. It should not be a tier 1. You need to take 7 dwarves off a single pass and have that, Tiana's. Jeez, I don't know. I mean, maybe Peter Pan's Flight because it's usually popular. I would have like maybe just those 3 in tier 1 and then have TRON as a single pass, but they're not listening to me. So I booked Jungle, Haunted, and Pirates for the afternoon starting around, I want to say 2:30. Mm-hmm. And then they were staggered pretty well. Now remember, once you book those initial Lightning Lanes, you can modify as much as you want up until that point within that same park.
Okay.
So I just, up the 3 days leading up, I would go in, I'd look and just say, is there anything I can fiddle with because when you first book them, they're not going to allow overlapping times. If you modify, you can get some overlapping times, because you don't want to have a 2:30, a 3:30, and a 4:30 Lightning Lane. You hit your 2:30 at 2:30, you get off at 2:45. We got 45 minutes till your next one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now you can go do some standby, but I thought if I can bump those up so Lightning Lanes are closer together, we're going to have more opportunity to book them and then rebook another one. So that's how we kind of did it. So we got to Animal Kingdom and basically immediately headed. What time did we get there? Do you remember?
No.
It was maybe 8:30. So it wasn't, maybe a little after 8. It was still pretty close to regular park opening.
Okay.
And where did we head straight to?
Navi River Journey.
Yeah.
And then rode that. It was great. Beautiful. Yep. And then went to our Lightning Lane for Flight of Passage.
Yeah. Because I had booked that starting at 8:55. So again, that was part of my thought process was if we technically rope drop, and I know we were a little bit after rope drop, if we go to Navi first, You're going to have a 30-minute wait, maybe. And
right. And I don't even.
About 20.
Yeah, I started to say it wasn't that long, which was nice.
Yeah. And I will say this now. One thing that made this different is, I text with Matt every day, but I haven't seen him in 3 years. We don't see Rob and Tina as much as you would think, considering they live less than a mile from our house, because we're both very busy families.
Mm-hmm.
So waiting in line, I think, and doing standby was going to be different for you and I, because we had friends that we're going to sit and hang out with and talk.
Oh,
you know
100%.
what I mean? So we weren't really that concerned, but
Yeah.
we still wanted to maximize time.
Yeah.
But we're able to do Navi, immediately get off, and we did Flight of Passage with the single pass.
Right.
We also ended up from there heading over and did standby for Dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
We worked our way around from there to Everest.
Mm-hmm.
We worked our way around from there to Cali River Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it's getting to lunchtime, and we've already done 5 attractions.
Mm-hmm.
Only one of them did we have to utilize a single pass.
Correct.
And if you didn't want to pay that money, you just get there earlier and you go ahead and you rope drop flight.
Correct.
And you're still going to be around the same range that we had.
Correct.
So where did we decide to go to lunch? Everybody was starving. Again, we're like, when people come with us that either haven't been in a while or have never been, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to make sure everything is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's also like situations where you're like, you want to okay, well, what type of food? And
yes,
let's have some good food.
Right.
So
right. That's why I'm like, all right, what is the place that I think will blow their socks off the most at Animal Kingdom, right?
Right. And Yak and Yeti, because not only is it an extensive like Cheesecake Factory, in my opinion, menu, it is all good food that we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked in. There was no seats at the bar, which we figured. I showed my Landry's card. They said about 20 minutes. I think it was maybe 10.
Did you hear what the wait time was for
45
walk-ups?
minutes to an hour, I
Okay.
believe.
If you walked up.
Correct.
No reservation, no
Correct.
Landry's card.
Correct.
Okay.
So, and we were hungry enough that I was very excited we were going to be sat soon. So,
Well, talk about the Landry card a little bit. I know we've mentioned it in the past, but what are benefits of the Landry card?
well, you get priority seating like that, which is really nice. And on the card is where the places take it. Like I know like Bubba Gump and stuff like that. But
T-Rex, Rainforest.
Okay, I
all
started
at
to
Disney.
say there's not, too many at Disney,
Right.
but still, and it's just $25, but you get that back.
Yep.
And rewards. And to be honest, it's so worth it because we've now used it twice. And it's just fantastic because we don't have to worry about, we need to try to get a reservation for it. So.
Yeah, or wait an hour. You think of waiting an hour at that point. When we get into our afternoon, it would have changed. Yeah, it would have changed a lot. So,
it would have.
You get a birthday reward each year of $25.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rhonda said, you get the initial $25 reward once you pay the $25 for it, and then you earn points. And so you can earn additional rewards. And then we found at the end, because they do take annual pass holder of 10%, our waitress even told us we were better off taking the points over the 10% because you can't use both.
Okay.
So you can't take your pass holder and get points. You have to pick. And she said points would be better. Another thing, you can't use multiple rewards at a time. So if you had a birthday reward and you had just say a points reward, you can't use both of them. However, you can pair one reward with as many gift cards as you would like.
Nice.
So just something to note.
Yep.
I want to say full price. We haven't paid full price at Yak and Yeti since we got, I feel like, the Landry's card. Because we've either always had a reward or I've used Fetch and got gift cards or something like that. So talk about what we had real quick. We don't have to spend a ton of time on it, but I think this is the first time we saw anybody get the seared tuna salad that Tina got.
Yeah,
We've
she
never
did.
had it.
No. So Tina got like Jeremy said, the seared tuna salad, which is chilled, seared black and ahi tuna, mixed green, scraped tomatoes, wonton chips, and ginger dressing for $24.49. I believe she asked to take off the tomatoes and then ginger dressing on the side, and all of that they did. Tina loved her salad. She said it was fantastic.
I think she said it was the best salad she's ever had.
Wow.
She was sounding like me at that point.
But we were also hungry, but this was really good. It looked beautiful. It looked good.
Yeah.
Matt was excited for a bowl, and then he got the dragon roll bowl, which is spicy tuna, dynamite crab, teriyaki salmon, cucumbers edamame, carrots, mango, tempura crunch over sushi rice. And then it says no substitution, please, for $28.99. Matt got it exactly the way it was, ate it, and I looked at him, and he was like, yes, this is fantastic. Yeah. He said everything was good and fresh and really good.
Yeah. And we were all starving. And
yes, we were.
Matt's a little guy, but he works out. He's a volunteer firefighter. And so he can eat, I feel like, a lot and maintain his stature. Yeah. And this is a lot.
It was. And I don't even know if he ate it all. It was so much.
It was pretty close, though, I think.
Was it?
It was pretty close. He ate a ton, though. And again, everything at Yak Yeti is very shareable.
Yeah. So then, of course, Jeremy and I are trying to figure out what we wanted. And it's so hard to look past the ahi tuna nachos. But Jeremy was like, why don't we do these and do the chicken? Because Rachel told us about it. And he's been weird anyways and I was like, you know what? I'm so down with that. And this was absolutely fantastic with the chicken.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was great. If you like ahi tuna, the ahi tuna is better.
Oh, 100%.
It really is.
But I enjoyed it because my brain will always be weird because of like places that aren't, like, I don't want to say known for fish, but like in Disney, like, where are you getting
it's not a seafood. Like, it's one thing to get ahi tuna at Boathouse.
Right.
It's another to get it at Yak and Yeti, you might think.
Correct.
But the quality's the same.
Oh, 100%. Yep. But it's just funny. So I was like, and I always like a first bite or two. Like, I'm like, is this okay? But my brain didn't have to do any of that with the chicken, and it was fantastic. Yeah. And I was full. So. Oh,
I really enjoyed it. I did. And this option, it's not like it's on the menu. It's not like it says, nachos. Pick your protein.
Right.
It is ahi tuna nachos.
Correct.
It doesn't say you can add chicken or anything else. Right. Rachel told us about it because I think it's her mom who doesn't eat tuna or ahi tuna.
Makes sense.
And they've done this, and I loved it. Yep. I will definitely do it again. Now, if my taste for raw fish comes back, I don't know why it went away. It's very odd. That I would still get the ahi tuna. Like, again, if you like ahi tuna, get the ahi tuna.
And just a reminder, these ahi tuna nachos, they can be done gluten-free.
Yes, they can. That's right. Yeah, thank you. From there, we did stop at Zuri's Sweet Shop. We got a couple little treats, and then we were going to hit Kilimanjaro Safari to say we're going to do standby for that.
Right.
And then we're going to hop to Magic. Unfortunately, as soon as we were done with Zuri Sweet Shop, we saw that for whatever reason, Kilimanjaro was down. I don't know if there was, a rhino in the road or something. But we thought, all right, we're not going to waste time waiting for it.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Had it been up, we probably would have been on and off in, 45 minutes or so. So, you can kind of take that into account. Buses start running at, I think it's 10:30 in the morning, park to park. So we were clear with that. Yep. And we hopped on a Disney bus to head over to Magic Kingdom. Now, as I said, I had pre-booked Jungle, Haunted, and Pirates with the Lightning Lane. I could not get a Tron.
Right.
So I thought, all right, why don't we see if some folks want to meet up? We'll meet up at 8:15 to watch Happily Ever After. And then afterwards, we're going to try and hit Tron before it closes.
Yes.
But prior to that, I'm just going to run through these real quick so you can hear what we did. First of all, we stopped at the nurse.
Yeah, I needed a Band-Aid.
Yep. So don't forget the nurse's stations if you need things. Band-Aids. Tina actually had like some heartburn or her stomach was bothering her. So she got like an Alka-Seltzer type thing there. Maalox there. So they have a lot of stuff to help you out. So don't forget about those. We did Jungle with Lightning Lane. We did Tiana's Standby. We did Haunted with Lightning Lane. We stopped at Gaston's and got a treat, including the frozen. You're right. I don't have the LeFou mug. You know what I was thinking of? I think I was thinking of the Germany mug. It's clear, so it's not even close. But anyway, that was a whole thing. And we got the creme brulee croissant there. Yep. Right. Then we did Standby for Little Mermaid.
Okay, so let's talk about that really quick because when we were walking in,
the longest we waited for
the time was like, I think 20 minutes, if that. Yep. And literally, I think it was just possibly the peak time of heat.
Yeah.
And everybody needed to get inside because it was a very long.
I think we waited close to 40.
Yeah.
I honestly think it was close to one of our longest waits of the entire weekend, which was crazy.
But this is something else too, and why they have that.
Yep.
Like, get inside when it's this hot.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, for sure. And you can go back to our Beat the Heat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember if we put get in a queue, but just do a ride there, right? So then we did our Pirates with Lightning Lane. We got some Mickey ice cream sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
We then did People Mover as standby. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, as we're using Lightning Lanes, I'm booking additional ones, so we're holding our 3.
Correct.
So then we did Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin on a Lightning Lane. We did Space Mountain on a Lightning Lane. We did Carousel of Progress as a standby. We got to see the opening of Carousel of Progress 3 times. Mm-hmm. We got to see the first initial scene 2 times, and then it went on. I think it was Monday, somebody was posting, why did I just see the same scene in Carousel of Progress repeatedly? So I guess it was still having some issues.
Okay.
From there, we stepped off and we did Monsters Laugh Floor, which we had booked a Lightning Lane for. Mm-hmm. So we just demolished Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
In like minimal time other than the Speedway, which none of us wanted to do. From there, it was coming around that 8:15 time. Mm-hmm. So we met up with a few folks outside of, oh my gosh, the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah,
I've corresponded with Ben.
With
I've corresponded with him several times. I feel like over the years now through social. So finally got a chance to meet him. Thank you for coming out. And while we were waiting for Happily Ever After, I ate more hot dogs this weekend than I've ever eaten in a weekend.
Yeah, you did. You and Tina.
I had one.
Lord of
I had
mercy.
one. Tina was like on a hot dog kick. I had one Thursday night at the Kickback at Drury, and then Tina and I split a plain foot-long hot dog with fries from Casey Corner.
Yep.
And then you and Riley headed over to Colonel Kitchen, correct?
Yeah, because I don't remember why, but you said something about it. And so we went going over there, and Riley and I got in the candy shop, and we were like, holy crap. That line for the Colonel Kitchen popcorn was so long, but this nice cast member, I think his name was Rob or Ron. It was R-O. I don't remember the last letter.
Roy?
No, it wasn't that. But anyways, he was amazing and heard me talking about it and then said, do you know what you want? And I'm like looking, and they have them like displayed in the case.
That big like round circle, they have them out there.
And I was like, yeah, I want the s'mores. And then when I said it, I said something out loud before I was coming because I think Jeremy knew it was s'mores, and Tina kind of turned up her lip or whatever. So I was like, well, there was 2. So it was funny because I went and told the guy, or Ron told me, go over here. Go and you can order from that. There's one person in the back and they'll make it for you. You can order from the counter. And I was like, seriously? He's like, but you got to know what you want. And I'm like, oh, I know what I want. Yeah. So Riley grabbed a few drinks for her and Liv and a caramel apple. And then I told him, so I was like, I want s'mores. And then there was another one that was a
Snickers
medley. No, it was some like medley thing, and I can't remember. Like a major, I don't know. Anyways, he mistaken the s'mores for Snickers.
Oh, that's what it was.
And I was a little sad, but listen, it's all good. It doesn't matter.
And he probably saved you 30 minutes of waiting in line.
And I mean, it's fine because we got 2, and I just wanted to give everybody a little bit. So it was awesome. We all got that and then came back to watch Happily Ever After.
But this is a great thing that you can do is, we got our spot for Happily Ever After with a small group of us at 8:15. Mm-hmm. We did that first. Mm-hmm. Then I mobile ordered Casey's Corner.
Right.
I went and grabbed it, came right back to our spot.
Right.
Right. We're all still sitting there, most of us. You and Riley went, you did this, you came right back to our spot. So during the, Happily Ever After was at 9:20 that night.
Yep.
And during that hour that we had to sit there, it went so quick because
hanging out,
talking. We claimed our steak,
and
then we made use of that hour by going and getting food and snacks.
Yep.
Watched Happily Ever After. Of course, it's incredible.
So good.
And then we were like, all right, whoever's here with us, if you're ready afterwards, we're going to go straight to TRON to see if we can get it before park close.
Yep.
Park was closing at 10. As long as you were in the queue for TRON before 10 p.m., they're going to let you ride. Right.
So when Tinkerbell flew, because we all girls love that, we were like, let's go ahead and go. And we did. Riley, Tina, like, I was like, dang, y'all are quick. Liv, I think, was and I was like, no, I think me and Liv were together. I'm like, holy crap, they are like crazily running, but
Not running, they were walking fast.
They were.
Nobody was well, we weren't running in our group, but other people were.
Yeah, and they were kind of
they were briskly
getting on to people. But when I say we went, like, so did almost, it seemed like everybody else.
This is a popular thing to do.
So it was really cool, but we all went, and then we got in line, and of course it's posted at 75, and we got in line at 9:42. And it's posted at 75, and we only waited 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The sad part is at the end of the night like that, for somebody like Tina and Matt who had never ridden it, unfortunately, you do not get that air quote unquote pre-show that they do.
That digitization room.
Right. So you just pass right on through quickly through there. But we did get them and waited for front row. There was 9 of us all together.
Something like that, yeah.
We all so we were like, can we wait these 2 for the front, and then the rest of us, we want to be on the same train. So it was awesome. They loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
And that was a great way to end out the evening. And then the way we did it, because it was me, you, Matt, Tina, Liv, and Riley, headed back to Drury, because that's where we all were staying. Ben was he was staying at Old Key West and had a conference and was moving to Coronado. So he was doing all that. So our thought was to walk over to Contemporary and get on a bus to Springs.
Because remember, to get back to Drury, well, at this time, buses wouldn't have been running. But let's just say they were, we would have had to go all the way back to the TTC.
Correct.
Just to catch the bus.
So we thought, let's go, because Springs stays open till later. Well, unfortunately, we almost got to security to go to Contemporary to get on the bus, but we saw a Saratoga Springs bus, and a bunch of us kind of started talking, and the bunch of us being me, Liv, you, and Liv, because she is there, and was like, would it be smarter? And we were like, oh yeah. So, because again, we weren't sure if there would be a bus running, because of Springs was really close to closing, because by the time we got out, obviously, if we waited 45 minutes, right. And I think Springs was closing around 11.
Yeah.
So with all this being said, we turned around, walked back to get on a bus to Saratoga, took it.
Yep.
Liv looked it up.
You go all the way to Congress Park.
Yep.
You get off
not
there.
A bad rock.
And it's and again, Rhonda mentioned earlier, we're okay with the walking.
Correct.
At this point, if you're not, and you're trying to get back to the Drury, you could call a minivan.
Yeah.
Uber or Lyft, you'd be hard pressed probably to get one to be able to come to Contemporary or something for you at this time, because they are pretty strict about even Ubers coming in and out picking people up.
Okay.
But this was an option. So you get off at Congress Park. It's a quick walk over the bridge into Springs, and then right back to Drury. So, and again, after...
And we didn't even walk in Springs.
No,
we literally walked behind it.
Yep. Yeah. So worked out perfect.
Yep.
At the end of the day on Friday, we did 6 attractions using Lightning Lane Multipass. We did 1 attraction with the Lightning Lane Single Pass. We did 9 attractions with Standby. So right there, that is 16 attractions that we accomplished on Friday.
Congratulations.
With some planning, but not meticulous planning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So not too bad. Let's move on to Saturday. So this was another one. 3 days out. I thought, all right, do we really need to book Multipass for EPCOT and then have to trade in and hopefully secure some good times at Hollywood Studios, which means Slinky Dog's going to be gone, right? If you try and book day of, Slinky Dog's gone. It's going to be. I'm shocked I got it at 3 days out.
Okay.
I mean, heck, at that point, Tower, Rocket, I bet a lot of those, Runaway Railway, a lot of those are going to be gone by the time you get a chance. So I thought, all right, we will very close to rope drop EPCOT, and then I'll book the first 3 at Hollywood Studios for later that afternoon or evening. Now, when I went in, I was also going to purchase Rise, and I was going to purchase Cosmic Rewind. all of the Cosmic Rewinds that were available to purchase were after like 7 p.m. that night. So I was like, well, that's not going to work. We're going to be in Hollywood Studios, so I'm not going to buy it. I'll go ahead and, make sure that we all get there in time to rope drop it technically in the morning so we can accomplish Cosmic Rewind. So the 3 that I booked at Hollywood, which ended up starting, I believe, around 5 o'clock, was Tower of Terror, Toy Story Mania, Midway Mania, and Slinky Dog. Now, Slinky Dog I couldn't get until like 9 p.m. and the park was closing at 10, but I got it. So I thought, all right, this is going to work out great. So we went ahead and walked down to take the bus for EPCOT, and that's when we discovered
they share a bus, and it's Hollywood Studios and EPCOT. And of course, the guy, when I said, were you going first, he looked and was like, Hollywood Studios. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And we did not get on. Yeah. And
any other day, that wouldn't have been a huge deal. But at that point, knowing we wanted to basically rope drop Cosmic, that was going to be a big deal.
At this point, we were already going to get there with early entry was basically 8:45.
Yeah. Early entry was 8:30 for a 9
correct.
a.m. park open.
So we were like, we have to Uber. So we Ubered because getting there, we were walking through, like I said, at 9:45, and you're seeing like all the 9 o'clock people waiting.
8:45.
Or 8:45. You're seeing all those 9 o'clock people waiting just to go straight to Cosmic. Yeah. So that
just got to get ahead of them.
Yeah. So that was really nice. Because we were at that 8:45 time, we didn't have to stand in the really long line for early entry. It was no line. We just walked straight through. Which was really cool. And then we went straight, got in the queue, which was about 8:49, and it was posted at 65, and we only waited 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was great.
I'm going to say it. We legitimately waited 45 minutes. For the folks, and I have nothing against this. I totally get it. This is what the folks want to do. You get up at, 7 a.m., right? You get on a bus at 7:30, you get to EPCOT at 7:45, and you get in that waiting area for the 8:30 early entry, right?
Right.
At 8:30, they open it. You rush to Cosmic, and you wait 45 minutes. You know what those people say? We waited 45 minutes for Cosmic. No, you didn't. You waited an hour and a half. You know what I mean? You waited 45 minutes in line just to get in to go wait another 45 minutes. You waited an hour and a half. We legit waited 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's a good little, like, if you can, like, time where you're there between 8:30 or right at 8:30 because they've already let people in. Yeah.
Would be perfect.
Yeah.
And even, even think I think getting after 8:30 a little bit around that 8:45 range even helped because it's cleared that waiting queue.
Correct.
And you already have people that are clearing the queue up at the actual ride.
Correct.
We even had time to grab a little breakfast that morning. Like we saved a lot of time that morning in headache by, not trying to beat everyone else to the park. So just a little tip for that one.
Yeah.
From there, we went and we did standby on Frozen. From there, we went standby on Remy, Ratatouille Adventure, right? Neither one a crazy long wait. This is right, I think, coming up on 11 o'clock. So we've been in the park just a little over 2 hours, and we've already done the 3 major e-ticket rides there. That's pretty impressive. All on standby, right? Stopped at Rose and Crown, got ourselves a Heineken Zero. I forget what Matt got. They had something special there, and then Tina got the Leaping Leprechaun. From there, we went, picked up some maple popcorn in Canada, and headed over to do standby for Soarin'. After Soarin', we came out. Nemo and friends had a line that we could see outside.
Yeah, that was
so we
sad.
Said, no, thank you. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Normally, though, that is pretty much a walk-on.
Yeah.
So normally, you probably could fit that in. So we headed straight in because Tina really wanted to do Turtle Talk.
Yeah, it was cute.
I don't think you and I have done that in probably 5, 6, 7 years.
Well, because, I mean, it's mainly for the kids, which is super cute.
It is. But it's so much fun.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's so impressive.
100%.
I forgot that they had brought in characters from Finding Dory into it. So it's just a great experience, especially for kids. After that, we went ahead and walked through Journey of Water because it's right there. On our way to Spaceship Earth, which we did standby for because Tina really wanted to do Spaceship Earth, right? We're like, okay, this is pretty good. We got to figure out what to eat. And we kind of landed on, Bar Riva is a great spot for the Skyliner to stop. It's one of our favorite places. We can get off, get back on, head to Hollywood.
Right.
But you and I stopped and got our Maleficent AP magnets first.
Yes.
Over at Creations.
Correct.
So went ahead, got on Skyliner and headed and stopped at Bar Riva. And what did we have there? And again, we don't have to spend a ton of time on this. I think people have heard us probably talk about Bar Riva once or 100 times.
Because we pretty much had everything. But what's really nice is you can get the food off of how do you say
Primo
that?
Piatto.
Yeah. And,
which we often do.
Well, we actually, everybody but Jeremy got it off of that one.
No, Matt got the grilled vegetable pita off of Bar Riva's menu.
Oh, that is on Bar Riva?
Yes,
okay.
Yep.
So, yes, he did get the grilled vegetable pita.
And you can add a protein to that. He added chicken.
Okay.
And it is delicious, and it's a big, hearty portion. He loved it.
Okay. And this is harissa marinated vegetables, plant-based cucumber yogurt, tomato, lemon, vinaigrette, and quinoa salad served over grilled pita for $13.79.
Fully plant-based if you don't add the protein like a chicken.
Correct.
Yeah.
Tina got the margarita pizza, flatbread, or whatever they call it, which is fresh artisan hearth-baked pizza topped with tomato sauce, heirloom tomatoes, and fresh mozzarella, finished with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil and fresh cut basil for $13.29. It's pretty large, so she ate some, and then Jeremy ate the rest.
I helped her out.
And
I was being a good friend. I love their pizzas there.
Good.
I've often gone and gotten one of their pizzas. The other one that they have, I believe it's sausage and pepperoni, like a meat one, is delicious. Yeah, it's a good enough size that you could eat it yourself, but you could also split it, I think. If just say you like, hey, we're going to get a pizza to split and a side of fries or, one of Bar Riva's lovely appetizers, like the arancini or something.
That would have been good. Jeremy went ahead and gambled and did the signature burger.
Yeah.
Which is what we talked about before, which used to be really good. And the last time I had it was not. It is signature beef blend, brie, balsamic, caramelized onions, and a black garlic aioli for $18.29. His gamble paid off, he said, for the good.
So when we originally got this, when it came out, it shot to the list as one of the best burgers on property. We went another time pretty recently, and it was not great. The patty was kind of overcooked. The bun was dry. We heard some other similar like stories about it, but I thought I'm going to give it another shot. And this time I had thought, if it is not up to standards, I'm going to say something.
Okay.
Because
Chris,
I think they've told us, who've worked there, like,
know.
They don't know if they don't know. If nobody tells them that something's wrong with it, they're going to keep putting it out that way. The difference, the one difference I did find is this had a lot more actual mushrooms on it.
Which you took off.
Right, which I just took off. No problem. Before, I felt like they were mixed in and much smaller and not as many, but no problem. I just took them right off. They were easy to get off. They still didn't ask how you want the burger cooked.
Nope.
Which I find interesting because on the menu, there is an asterisk next to this menu item, which refers to not eating undercooked items and all. You know what I mean? Which makes me think they would ask you.
Okay.
Even though it was cooked through, it was super tender. It ate like a medium cooked burger, even though it was cooked through. If that makes sense. The bun was nice and soft. It was back to the original. I thought I demolished this thing. I thought it was outstanding. I really hope that somebody else maybe said some things, or a couple people did, and they brought it back to its glory. I'm not going to move it back up into like a top 3 burger spot, but it's up there. It might be up in the 5, I think. So I was very glad that paid off. Now you got something we had not had yet.
Yeah,
I was heard about obviously for
super
a long time.
Excited. They had on that Piate thing, croque monsieur, which is classic French ham and Swiss served with your choice of side for $13.69. I got fries. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it. I ate all of it.
Yeah,
I was also very hungry.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to find somewhere that makes these poorly, because I don't know that you could. You know what I mean? Like, how could you mess this one up?
Yeah,
bread, ham, cheese,
Texas toast.
Yep.
And cheese on the outside and ham on the inside. It was just really good.
It was really, really good. Rhonda actually ran into a listener of ours, Leah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's right. I went to the bathroom and saw her. And yeah, that was nice. Nice running into you.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying hi.
Yeah. Hopped on the Skyliner there, right at Riviera, and we headed over to Hollywood Studios. Now, we didn't have our first Lightning Lane at Tower of Terror till around 5-ish. We're before that time, so we had to go to guest services. So Rob, Tina's husband, was going to fly in from New York for work on Friday evening. He was supposed to land at 6 p.m. at MCO. He was going to hop in a Uber and come meet us at Magic Kingdom, do Happily Ever After, ride TRON, have a full day Saturday with us.
Yep.
They were having major issues up in New York, I think due to some Midwest weather. So his flight kept getting out of LaGuardia, delayed.
And then Jacksonville Airport
caught on fire.
Had a nice little fire at the garage because my girlfriend that I work with was like, I parked there. I was like, so did we.
Yeah.
Like, we parked there, and it was crazy.
Yeah, I saw where I think it was the day after or whatever. I saw some post or on the news. It was like people could go back and get their vehicles and their because people had to leave them there. You know what I mean? Like, you had to leave your vehicle.
Yeah.
Whether I don't know if it caught on fire, like whatever it was.
Right.
But the reason Jacksonville mattered is because Rob got to a point where he was like, I need to get home. So he started looking at flights to Jacksonville. And then Jacksonville catches on fire. And he's like, well, that's not good. So he slept in LaGuardia. He finally was able to catch a flight Saturday morning to Dulles, which then took him to Jacksonville. And he had to Uber home from Jacksonville back to St. Augustine. But at this point, it's
finally got home Saturday night at like 5 p.m.
Yeah. And he showed up to the airport, I think around maybe noon or something on Friday.
Yes.
So we're like, all right, Rob is not going to make it. He and Tina had 3-day tickets that expire at the end of May. Like, obviously that's not any good. Tina's going to use 2 of her days. He can't use any of his. They can't just let these tickets go. So we went to guest services, talked to Kayla. She was amazing. She basically was able to trade Rob's for a new 3-day ticket that just came out that will expire at the end of September. So he's all good. No extra cost.
Yep.
Right? Then they said to Tina, you've used 2 of your days. Here's what we can do. We can basically upgrade you to a 4-day Discovery Florida resident ticket. 2 of those days, though, you've already used, so you'll have 2 more.
Right.
So if you do the math, she originally had a 3-day. Now she has a 4-day. She technically gets 1 extra day than she originally had.
Right.
Her cost difference was how much?
$15.97.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're like, wow. And then, I mean, like, she at this point, like, Rob could just not use his 3rd day, or we could figure something else out, but they at least have 2 days together.
So we're going to plan a trip back, the 4 of us, which will be awesome. So at least
now
Rob gets to go. Yes, now we do. So that was just excellent. Of course, Kayla was amazing, working through everything and saying, well, it makes more sense to do this than this.
Right.
And just was wonderful. So from there, we did Tower of Terror with our Lightning Lane.
Yep.
And then I had a reservation at Oga's because I really wanted them to see Oga's.
Yep.
Went down there, had a couple drinks. We got the delicious pretzel, cheesy, spicy bread. Everybody loved that.
Yep.
Split it in 4s. Well, you didn't eat any, did you?
No.
Okay, so we split it in 3s.
My stomach was not wanting it.
Then from there, we went and did standby for Star Tours. We headed over and did standby for Runaway Railway, which was again, not crazy. Most every wait time was 15 to 20 minutes less than posted. So remember that. That happens often. From there, we went and did Mania with our Lightning Lane. And remember,
favorite.
as we do ones, I'm getting new ones.
Right.
We then I had secured a Lightning Lane for Smuggler's Run. So we did Smuggler's Run.
And by this time, it is getting a lot later. Yes. And literally, there was like we were just the 4 in Smuggler's Run.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like there was no waits. Like it was.
Yeah, we didn't have to use a Lightning Lane for Smuggler's Run. We could have walked on, but that I got to the point where I was like, I want to show that you can.
And you paid for it.
I did. And let's just say the line had been 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Not bad, but we basically had a walk on because of the lightning lane, right? Then from there, we used our single pass to go over and ride Rise of the Resistance. So, we're nailing freaking Galaxy's Edge. Then from there, we went and did our Slinky Dog, which was originally booked Lightning Lane. And then finally, we ended with Alien Swirling Saucers, which you could have walked on, but I had secured a Lightning Lane.
Yeah.
So again, if for some reason at the end of the night, Alien Swirling Saucers had been 30 minutes, it wouldn't have mattered because we had a Lightning Lane.
Right.
By the time we stepped off of Alien Swirling Saucers, it was after 10 p.m. Our goal was to try and hit Tower one more time on the way out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, Tina was like, Tina kept saying, I'd love to do Tower of Terror again. And I was like, if we can get there before 10, we can do it. But we walked off of Alien Swirling Saucers, I think, at like 10:03. But anyway, Ubered to Springs at that point because Tina wanted Salt and Straw again.
Yep.
So we got Salt and Straw, and then we walked back to the Drury.
Yes.
So if we recap our Saturday, we did 5 lightning lanes with the multi-pass. We did 1 lightning lane with the single pass. We did 9 with standby. So in our 2 days of Disney with the 4 of us, this included our meals. And I can say we never rushed. Like, we would get, like, we would maybe grab a snack and we would just stand and eat it. You know, we weren't like, no, you got to grab a snack real quick and we got to run to the next thing, eat it on the way, or you better hurry up in the bathroom. Like, we took it pretty leisurely.
We
all
used the
things
bathroom
considered.
a lot.
We did. Tina knows where every bathroom in Disney World is now, in all 4 parks. So in those 2 days, we did all 4 parks. We used 11 Lightning Lane multi-passes. We used 2 Lightning Lane single passes. We did 18 standbys. So that is 31 attractions in those 2 days across all 4 parks.
Wow.
I had part of a plan, but I didn't. But then I was just shocked and so happy with how everything worked out.
Good.
Like, I can't think of any way almost anything could have gone better other than Rob would have made it on time. But other than that, it was about the most 2 perfect days I think that we've ever had in parks. And it's 2 of my favorite days we've ever had in parks. It was just unbelievable.
It was fun.
So we'll close out with our Sunday morning. We had the awards ceremony for Main Street 16. If you go out to mainstreet16.com, you can still see the ride list. You can still find out info. We'll obviously be updating it at some point for next year as we work out and decide when we're going to do it. We're going to probably change some things up, I think. For our fifth anniversary, I think it's time to change some stuff. So we'll bring all that out. But we're raising money for Make-A-Wish through Lou Mangello Dream Team Project. Now, when you go out to the donation page, you're going to see a very large number.
Yeah.
That large number, which when we started was around 40 grand, is from Lou's incredible efforts over the past several years.
Right.
We were simply adding to that.
Right.
So if you go out there, and you can still donate, if you go out to mainstreet16.com, you click that donate button and you look and go, well, they got like over $40,000. I don't need to give them $5.
Right.
We do, because we raised about $3,000 this year. We learned a lot this year. We learn every year.
Right.
We change it. We next year will continue to be the biggest and best. So just stay tuned. We'll announce as things like that start to happen. But let's just run through and give shout outs to the teams. Not only do we do first, second, and third place for teams that finish the 16 rides through all 4 parks the quickest, we also give out awards for each individual park time and who completes that the fastest. At Animal Kingdom, we had Stitch This, which they completed all of the rides in Animal Kingdom in 1 hour and 46 minutes.
Woo.
At DHS, we had the Mountaineers, Mitch and his dad, Michael, hour and 40 minutes. Epcot, 4 Caballeros. They finished in 1 hour and 36 minutes. And then at Mountain Kingdom, the Mountaineers again, 1 hour and 10 minutes. If we move on to our winners, in third place with a total time of 9 hours and 39 minutes was Crushing for a Cause, the wonderful folks over at the Disney Crush podcast. Make sure you check them out and subscribe. Second place, 9 hours and 32 minutes. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Mitch, Mountaineers, second place. How many? I think he's been second place now multiple times, and he's always so close.
Yeah.
And so next year is your year, Mitch.
Yeah.
In first place, 9 hours and 17 minutes was De Las Puertas, who finished the quickest. So they got the grand prize. We give out medals and gift cards, and we had some wonderful local vendors. We got a shout out, of course, to Drury Hotels for having us. Big shout out to Vacation Grocery Delivery. Of course, you can find them at vacationgrocerydeliveryfl.com. Balanced Weather is a new site from our friend Alan Gerard, who was a meteorologist for years. And in his retirement now, he is starting this website focused on weather and customized weather for your Walt Disney World or Central Florida trip. You can go to balancedweather.com, and there'll be a little drop-down menu for WDW specifically. He's got a newsletter you can sign up for and all, so check that out. Big thanks to Wonder Maid, the handcrafted marshmallows down there at Disney Springs. You can find them at wondermaid.com. They donated a whole bunch of packs of marshmallows. Right now, they're doing 50 different marshmallow flavors, one for every state in the U.S. And the owners are actually traveling to all 50 states during this kind of tour. So make sure you check them out. Sunshine Baking Princess, former cast member. Good. Yeah. Sent a wonderful box over of treats that we all got to try out. SunshineBakingPrincess.com. She will deliver treats right to your resort. So make sure you check her out. Along with Yisa Creations. She does gift baskets and all kinds of stuff that can be delivered to your resort. Another former cast member. You can find her on Facebook. And finally, Soul Wellness, another former cast member who started a basically wellness and massage company that will come to your resort to do massages, things like that. You can find her at Soul, S-O-L, Wellness, LLC.com.
Nice.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
That was our trip. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to thank, of course, Rhonda for doing this every year and putting up with it. Gary, who really is the brains behind all of this. You know, we were lucky enough after doing the podcast for about 5 years to say, I think we're well known enough that we can do something for charity.
Right.
But that's all we really have is a name. Gary is the brains behind everything. Chuck and Amy, who provides so much. We have this incredible team that spends months and months on calls and figuring stuff out ahead of time. Chuck and Amy are our scorekeepers. They spend all Saturday not enjoying themselves in the parks, but keeping up with teams as teams text them photos and times, and they track everything. And again, could not do it without them. And then Alan and his wife, Lisa, the same Alan from Balanced Weather, are constantly helping out, providing donations and stuff. Alan and Balanced Weather was one of our sponsors this year. So just huge shout out to all of them. Thank you guys very, very much for everything.
Yes, thank you.
And did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was great.
It was cool to do the parks again, like people do the parks. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed it. I'd like, I don't know that we'll do it once a month because lightning lanes do add up, obviously, in cost. But I'd like, you know, maybe every other month or so we go, you know what? We're going to go to Disney for a weekend and we're going to do it this way. Yeah. Even if it's just you and I or we got friends or whatever. Like, let's get lightning lanes. Let's rope drop. Let's close down parks. Like, let's just do Disney.
We have apprehended a dangerous experiment. Where is he?
He escaped.
All right, so here we go. We're going to talk about our thoughts on Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, and what we won't do, I mean, can you have spoilers when it's a movie that technically a story that already existed? I'd say yes, right? Because
I would think so.
Yes. So we're not going to go into huge depths or anything, obviously. We just kind of want to give our initial thoughts without ruining everything. What were your thoughts on Lilo and Stitch?
It is one of the best movies Disney has ever done to date.
Agreed. I think it's the best live action.
It is so good. It is outstanding.
Yeah.
Like Disney they took one of my favorites. I mean, going back to Disney, my favorite, Beauty and the Beast. They took one of my favorites and they rocked it. They did a little more story. They did. They just killed it all around, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Same with Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is one of my favorites. We have a dog named Stitch. I have a tattoo Stitch. I mean, our entire house is Stitch. Yeah. It is. I cannot wait to see this again. We're going to see it again on Saturday with our kid, Lacey, and then her friend Alex. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah.
It is just so good.
Go
see it.
I mean, we're huge, obviously, Lilo and Stitch fans. So I think it'd be real easy for people to think, well, you're kind of biased. You're just going to love it no matter what. I think it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
I think that
people
that love something like that so much will be
Yes.
so overly critical. You are going to ruin something they love.
Correct.
And I hate when people say that about live actions.
Right.
You know how you don't ruin the animated version of a movie? You just don't go see the live action, right?
Correct.
You're never going to ruin it. So anyway, I think it's quite the opposite because we would be so particular. And yeah, I was definitely worried. I saw some early reviews and every single one was spot on. It was absolutely
so good.
perfect. Mm-hmm. They expand on the relationships a ton,
Yep.
which I think makes it a whole movie. When you go back and look at a lot of the animated ones,
Yes.
they're classics.
Yeah.
They are. But you're looking at a time and you're looking through the animation where the story for most of those isn't complete in a sense, Something we loved about Beauty and the Beast was they showed Belle and the Beast falling in love. It wasn't just like overnight,
Right.
the way it is in the animated. And that's what happens here. They build these relationships between Nani and Lilo, their parents and stuff. Like, it is just absolutely perfect. I don't want to say her name right, but Maya Kiloha, I think, who plays Lilo.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable. Should win awards. I'm not kidding.
She's so good. And she's 9 in real life.
Yep. Plays
She
6
plays
in the movie.
6 in the
As
movie,
Lilo.
which is only 3 years difference, but wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was perfect. You will fall in love with her
Oh.
the moment she shows up on
Yep.
screen. And yeah, everything was perfect.
love her.
Same with Sydney Agudong, who plays Nani. Perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody was. And
Yeah.
there is, again, we won't say what, there is kind of a new character introduced, which is a wonderful nod to the animated.
Yep.
If you know it well. And I know the concern, I think, for a lot of people was Jumba and Pleakley, right?
Oh.
What did you think? Because they
They're
had to take their human form, right?
Phenomenal. And it's explained so well, too.
Yeah, they set it up really well
perfect.
why they are looking human.
Correct.
Zach Galifianakis. I love Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
If you like his style and humor, you
Yeah.
will love him as in this role. And then Billy Magnuson,
Yeah.
who I love in everything he does.
And if y'all have watched the live actions and you saw Aladdin, he was the first prince where he's like, "Here, puss, puss, here, puss, puss," and he is just again freaking tastic.
Perfect
so
as
good.
Pleakley.
So good.
Like, bring tissues.
Oh yeah,
You will cry throughout the movie.
yeah.
Like, it is.
I did.
It is
Jeremy
so
did.
touching and heartwarming. Not only do I think it is probably Disney's best live action remake, it's just a really, really good movie.
Yeah, it is.
And potentially one of the best movies of the year. It could be.
I hope
know we
so.
still have half a year left and there's a lot to come out, but
So good.
and what I really enjoyed, for whatever reason, as I watched it, I think it was so well done and I was so involved that I didn't spend the whole time thinking about how it compared to the original animated movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It had so many nods, but it expanded. Just 10 out of 10. Go
Yes.
see it.
Yes.
Get your popcorn. Get your we got a cup. We got a popcorn bucket.
Yep.
Little stuffed keychain thingy. Go see it. Seriously.
So good.
It's outstanding, and take those tissues. Mm-hmm. So let us all know what you think of it once you get a chance to see it, though. We would love to hear everybody else's opinions.
Yes.
Shooting star! I wish for a friend. Like a best friend.
All right, y'all, as always, thank you so much for listening. If you want to hear all these upcoming episodes, we've got a lot of wonderful summer trips coming up. Some new things coming up, like Caring for Giants.
Yay.
Very excited to do it. Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
We're car camping soon. We're staying at DVC Cabins in August. We just got a lot coming up, so hit subscribe, and you get the brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Of course, Rhonda and myself would be very, very thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.